Spider-Man 2 is a love letter to Marvel fans, and that's why you could be fighting crime only for the other Spider-Man to show up. Well, after you've defeated enemies together, there's a chance you'll interact with each other and share a hug, but there's also a small chance this will happen instead. Is of course a reference to the iconic pointing meme. Now, one of the greatest Easter eggs from the last game was the introduction of shirtless Spider-Man. It might seem like a cool guy at a Halloween party, but real fans will recognize the secret reference to Greg Miller from Kinda Funny. His character Shirtless Spidey hyped up the game for months, desperate to be added, and they finally went through with it. So now in Spider-Man 2, you can find him again. On this rooftop in the Upper West Side, you'll come across Greg dancing for the camera, joined by another Spider-Man. This is his co-host on Kinda Funny, Blessing, and if you take a photo of them in-game, they're called the Kinda Fanboys. Not the only insane rooftop, over at the top right of Hell's Kitchen, you'll find a helipad with a familiar logo on it. It's not finished, but you can already tell exactly what this is referencing. Yeah, it's obviously the logo of the Fantastic Four, and judging from their paint job, they're probably just moving in. So it leaves the question, is this an Easter egg or teasing their appearance in a future game? There's also an incredibly heartwarming detail once you visit the Wakandan embassy. This has been on the map in every game, but in Spider-Man 2, go here as Miles and walk up to the front door. An option will appear allowing you to do the Wakanda Forever tribute.
Wakanda forever!
And this gets even better. Once you hit level 25, Miles will unlock the Forever suit. Just from looking at it, you can probably tell what this is inspired by, and when you craft the styles, the second one really reveals a secret. Of course, this is based on T'Challa's Black Panther, and the name, it's a touching tribute. One of the game's most thrilling missions takes you to Coney Island, where you could actually go on the rides. There's a checklist with the optional mini-games, and it takes a while. I'm sure you could just ignore them, but once you've completed this, head to the prize booth, and now here's a range of prizes to choose. Yeah, they're super goofy, and you get to walk around as Peter with them until a cutscene begins. Your prize has vanished. Most people would assume it's gone forever, and that's when you become Spider-Man and get to fight the enemies wearing your secret neon hat. Make sure to return here in free roam though, because Coney Island has its own baseball stadium right next to the park. Seems like a cool area, but nothing really to do here, right? Well, why don't you try and run across all 4 bases?
And Parker does it all with a home run bunt.
Not only did you get hidden dialogue, but enjoy your trophy. The developers gotta give themselves a pat on the back for such a great game, and don't worry because of course they did. In Dr. Connor's house, you can look on his kitchen counter and go into photo mode, zoom into the coffee jars, and they are labeled Insomniac, Decaf, and Robust. And that's not all. During certain missions, you'll head into the sewers, but wait a second, you catch that? Let's rewind and pause. As you can see, the manhole cover says Insomniac Games on the bottom. Now, if you remember one of the best Easter eggs from Spider-Man 1, you'll know that Matt Murdock had his own law office in Hell's Kitchen. You know, Daredevil. It was a great secret, but there was a pink sign on the window, an eviction notice. So, if you head to this place in Spider-Man 2, Murdock has officially moved out of the building with his name gone from the wall. Not the only Easter egg to be updated. If you remember the movie theater from the first game, it was used to propose to a girl named Maddie. Well, sadly, before the game released, the couple broke up and it became quite the controversy. Well, rumor has it, she cheated on him with his own brother, and this proposal was removed in the remaster. Now, the entire theater is gone and replaced with a heart clinic, referencing the heartbreak from the failed proposal. For anyone who played the Miles Morales spin-off, you'll probably remember Finn, who sadly died at the end of the game. Well, if you go to Trinity Church, there's a tiny Easter egg paying homage to Miles and Finn's friendship. Up on the roof, go into photo mode, and you'll see the Spacebound Science Trophy. And this gets even sadder. At the Harlem Cemetery, Rick and Finn's graves are hidden in plain sight, and I can't be the only one tearing up right now. With Spider-Man 2 adding the entirety of Brooklyn onto the map, there's tons of places to explore, like Vision's Academy. This is Miles' school in the game, but you also might recognize it from Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's completely accurate to the school from the films. And it's not the only superhero to be referenced. This guy's a little more obscure, but pay close attention to the hood, and there's your hint. Kinda looks like Moon Knight, right? Well, this is actually Arachnite, a superhero from Infinity Wars that's a crossover between Spider-Man and Moon Knight. On the topic of obscure characters, there are an insane amount of villains hiding in plain sight. Over at Coney Island, you think the ride names are pretty generic, like Big Wheel or Speed Demon, fitting for a roller coaster, but these are actually the names of Spider-Man villains. They get less obvious in places like Hydro Bench, which is a mashup of Hydro Man and his real name, Morris Bench. Or Kadensky's Arcade, based on well, arcade, but his real name is A.R. Kadensky. It's not just villains either. There's Dazzler Stage, who is an X-Men character that uses light powers to be a disco queen. One of the best locations in the game is Peter's childhood bedroom. This place is full of Easter eggs, including a newspaper cutout that says, "Amazing New Hero" or "Violent Vigilante." If the photo seems familiar, it's a one-to-one recreation of a comic book cover. This is Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first time Spider-Man ever appeared in Marvel. And if you want to further proof, just check Peter's shelf. While you're there, look at his wall and you'll find a Pioneer Award from Pym Science Summer Camp 2003. This is personally signed by Dr. Hank Pym, and any Marvel fans will recognize this name. He was the original Ant-Man and appears in the MCU as Scott's mentor. My personal favorite is a spray can. Well, if you look on the back, you'll find a secret message left by a developer. It says, "If you pause the game to read this, yo nerd, good job. How's your day going?" Good, I hope you remember you could achieve anything. Follow your dreams in like a smart way, you know? Can we use swear words in text? I guess this is a rated T game, right? And that's not even the strangest thing I've seen while playing Spider-Man. While exploring Times Square, you can find a ton of knockoff brands. I mean, the game recreates New York, so there's plenty of companies, but none of them are real except for one. Hidden in the corner, it's an actual Adidas store. Clearly they paid Sony for product placement here, but this sticks out so much, they even recreated Adidas clothing inside. As for the fake companies, we have Teos, which appeared in Miles Morales as the local bodega. Well, Arrivals entered the market and copied their iconic Spider-Cat mascot. You can find these two chatting on the street, with the knockoff being terrible at his job.
Hold on.
Hey, lady!
See, right there. It's so aggressive and harsh.
They have over 20 minutes of dialogue. Trust me, I sat there and listened to all of it. And the best part, Teo's mascot is secretly voiced by Nathan Fillion.
But don't feel bad for me. If I can make it here, I can Spider-Man anywhere.
Not the only interesting voices on the street. As you roam New York, it actually sounds like you're walking